Today we are talking about 3 things that I used to do as a beginner photographer that you should not ever do. Basically, this is just gonna go from editing stuff to actually taking the photos. Number 1, when you are editing your photos, do not crank up detail or structure or sharpness. Don't crank that up all the way, because then you go from a natural looking photo to then just a very over processed, very ugly detailed photo. The thing is, don't get me wrong, like detail is good in your photos, but having too much detail is just like, what? Make sure you play with your details a little bit, but don't crank it up all the way. There's no need for you to crank it up all the way, because then you're just Number 2, do not crank up your saturation all the way. I have zero clue why I did this. However, when I was first starting to take photos, I had a vision in my head where I was like, detailed, saturated photos are eye appealing. No, they're not. The thing with photography when it comes to editing is there needs to be a balance. You need to make sure you don't have too much saturation or too much contrast or too much exposure, and it's the same thing vice versa, because then your photos just look weird. You need to find a balance. So if you start to notice that your saturation is just a little bit too much, I would highly recommend boosting that down. And I know that some presets on different editing softwares may bump up that saturation. I personally do not understand why such a preset exists. Please do not use any preset that genuinely like skyrockets your like saturation. If you use too much of, let's say for example, the temperature of the photo, and next thing you know it's a little too cool, it looks weird. It looks very weird. Last but not least, this is for when you are going out and shooting. Make sure that your photos are straight. One thing that I noticed is a lot of people, when they are taking photos on their camera, like the thing is they don't do it on purpose. I know this is just accidental, but this is something to just look out for. When you are taking photos, make sure your camera is first of all straight. Do not tilt it. One thing that I know is when people are holding their cameras either horizontally or vertically, sometimes people will have the habit of tilting their camera down just a tiny bit or tilting their camera up just a little bit. If you're doing it intentionally, make sure that your composition or where your subject is, make sure that it's actually in frame. And then the second thing, make sure that your photos are aligned with the horizon level, basically the line that separates the ground from the sky, because you just eyeballing it is not going to make it straight. But because you have this imaginary beautiful line that is dividing the ground from the sky, use that as a reference to make sure that your photo is straight or not. But anyways, that is 3 tips to help you guys with your photos, and 3 things that you should not do when taking photos. So if you enjoyed the video, let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys have some more tips or tricks that you definitely want to leave down below for some photographers, definitely comment down below. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I will talk to you guys in the next one. And as always, I will talk to you guys either tomorrow or the day after, or the day after photos. So hopefully this helped with your guys's. I don't know why I stopped. The reason why I stopped was because I just felt like my voice was like very fucked. This is the best way I can explain it. I don't even know. Is to basically, I don't even know how to describe this like in my head visually, because I can just explain things visually and not mentally. I don't know. Is that like a thing? I'm a visual learner, or like a visual. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, photo or your frame is aligned with the horizon level. What the fuck? Horizon level. Fuck, I said before. That was terrible.